Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan, aka Mac. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links to everything discussed can be found in the description below, so let's get on with it. This week we see a snippet of the new Item 2.0 system, Austin presents ATV, and Tony Zurovec updates us on the upcoming careers. If you are still to sign up to the RSI website, please use my referral code as shown on screen or in the description, and you'll receive 5,000 United Earth credits which can be spent in the Voyager Direct store for your ships, your character, or whatever you choose. You don't have to spend anything to sign up. It's only once you pledge that I'll be granted an RP point, which will get me some little rewards in the future. So this week's ATV, episode 100, this is part 3, coming from Austin, Texas. We had Jake Ross and John Erskine presenting. They say they're working towards 2.5, Grimhex specifically. They're also getting ready for Gamescom. There's a free fly now on if you didn't know, so if you create an account, do use my referral code as you will get 5,000 United Earth credits for free. You don't need to pay for anything, you just need to sign up and then you can download the game, you can get in there, you can test some of the ships out, you can see Crusader, see everything you've been watching. Also test your computer, see how it goes. Anyway, they've launched a new multi-factor authentication now for Star Citizen. They have their own app for added security. I have done mine. I do suggest you do yours as well. Anyway, we had an Austin studio tour. We spoke with QA who are working on 2.5. They say they're working on Grimhex and the flyable reline, but also FPS mechanics like the cover system. They're also working on procedural planet tech and transitioning between space and planet. They say it's a lot of fun. Man, I can't wait till we can test that. There's a studio update as well. They got patch reduction first. It's basically you'll just download the data you need, the updated files. It's coming online soon. Obviously very important to us. Grimhex, we saw a lighting update. It'll look saturated, sort of noir. Very, very cool. We saw the level. We saw some shops integrated into the environment. There won't be any real doors for these shops. They're sort of open kiosks. And they say they've got a cool new lighting which makes everything look cohesive. I am excited for Grimhex. It's going to be very cool. So in terms of shopping at Grimhex, you've got Scutters, which is a weapon shop. It sells more outlawry things. Not every shop will follow the same format, so it's not just going to be like, this is a weapon shop, this is an armor shop. They will incorporate other things to make it feel more realistic. The next shop we saw was run by a drug addict. This is a mishmash of items. Not pictured, these are all placeholders at the moment, but it's a clothing shop, kind of like a Chinatown flea market. And then finally we saw a bloke wearing some clothing examples. These are all coming soon. You've got new boots, jackets, bandanas. Much more my kind of style, but I don't know. It does look kind of funky. Also got work in progress for clothing. They've got caps, leather jackets, lots of t-shirts. We see all these t-shirts, very cool. And then we saw the updated Herald. We didn't see too much of it, but it looks cool what we did see. So from there, we spoke to Tony Zurovec, who is a big deal in Austin. He is practically overseeing the persistent universe and everything about the persistent universe. So we spoke to him a little while. He says they've wrapped up Levski a while ago, and the plan was to release it later this year, but because of the procedural tech guys making such rapid progress, they decided to hold off and release it together. They're going to upgrade the number of landing pads. The most interesting area is the market or the bazaar. He says the main area is pretty safe, but if you want to buy or sell any illicit goods, you'll need to venture down further into the station to the abandoned areas where it's much more dangerous. I love that idea. Anyway, talking about subsumption, he says it's going to have dramatic impact on the gameplay experience, increased AI designer productivity as well, so it's so much quicker to get the AI working. Missions generally take long times to construct and are prone to errors, but this will really speed up all of that, also allow them to create better content. So in occupations, this is very cool. The first one they're looking at is courier transport. They're finalising commodities prices, setting up the UI and the ability to load and unload. Piracy and smuggling should arrive around the same time as the transporting. But as you do this within secured zones, your notoriety will increase and you will attract more attention. Also, generally shops in the UEE space will not deal in illicit goods, but if you smuggle your loot in, you may find a black market dealer, but I'm not sure how easy it's going to be. Also, mercenaries will earn a living taking the missions as a gun for hire. Their success and rep will be tracked, so only the best will be offered the best contract. So if you are a really good mercenary, then yes, you will show up as a good mercenary. You can charge better premiums. So, also, mining and salvage. He says they won't have dedicated ships till sometime next year, which is unfortunate, but they will add some labour-intensive, up-close and personal variants of these jobs, which is very cool. So, mining, he says, you'll be able to extract pieces of ore from planetary bodies by hand, sort of excavating. Gases can also be collected by fitting a canister to the natural vents. And then when it comes to salvage, you'll be using a salvage gun to strip surface materials from ships and transport them in containers. It won't be cost effective to break down full ships this way, but if you know where the most valuable materials on each ship are located, then you can obviously make a good living, and I love the idea of that. So if you do go out into space and you find this ship floating there derelict, then yeah, obviously if you're using a handheld gun, trying to break it all down is just going to be ridiculously time consuming and not worth it. So if you can learn where the best materials of each ship are, then you can really earn some good credits there. He says all of this will allow for any number of players to work cooperatively together. They want to encourage players to interact with each other as well, so to make it easier for players with compatible interests to hook up at the right time, they're adding a service beacon to everyone's mobiGlass now. This is very, very cool. This will allow each person to offer or request services from another, so you can be picked up if you've deactivated, you can get some fuel or repairs. The service beacon will allow you to broadcast what you want doing along with the price that you are happy to pay, and other players can then obviously see what you're offering and decide whether to accept it or not based on how they feel about it. I do like that idea. It's going to be very useful, but also it's going to be useful for pirates as entrapments and ambushes, but that's all part of the gameplay. Anyway, Tony Zurovec is most excited for procedural planets for the increase of potential scenarios. Also, the server transition technology is exciting for him. It's a bit further out, but it will have a huge impact and make the entire world feel much more alive. From there, we did this wonderful World of Star Citizen, and it's the Ballad of Big Benny's. It has finally been released. Do check that out. I'll have it playing in the background. Most valuable post goes to Hashkaha for his Big Benny's addiction warnings. Very cool. And the fast forward was more of the caterpillar, which just cannot come soon enough. Anyway, that was Around the Verse, part 3 of episode 100. Do tell me your thoughts. So, on Reverse the Verse this week, they say they're experimenting, as we know, with a new type of show instead of the 10 for the Chairman. Still going to have the question and answer format, but it'll be slightly different, maybe more visual, I believe. Around the Verse will also rotate around the studios, and it may not be called Around the Verse, but they're still skeptical there. So it'll go from the LA one week, then it'll be in Austin the next, UK the next, and so on and so forth. They are going through feedback from what we want and providing that. They're also looking into sending Reverse the Verse to other studios too, so like they've done with Around the Verse, send it out to different departments, different studios each week. Big Bennett's t-shirts are available to buy. They are $25 each, including shipping. If you're a subscriber, you get the subscriber patch as well. It looks like they've sold out now, but do not worry, they will do another run based on sales. So, on to the Q&A. So, first one being, will the OmniGlass have similar changes to the mobiGlass update, and can you unequip it completely? And they say no, the OmniGlass will be the same as the mobiGlass because it uses the same operating system, so it'll look pretty much identical, but the external case, the aesthetics of the OmniGlass will be different to the standard mobiGlass. They did mention that there will be multiple versions of the mobiGlass that you can buy to accessorize, but they say they're not sure if you can unequip it totally. Next question after that was, is there any Caterpillar stats updates? And they say not yet. They will have updated stats when it is hangar ready. Basically, when it goes hangar ready, well, when it starts off concept, hangar, and then flight ready, that's the 3 times they will take a look at the specs and update them as necessary. Next question, will Big Benny's machines, vending machines, eventually dispense noodles? And they say yes, not just Big Benny's machines, eventually all vending machines and all other machines will dispense food. NPCs will be interacting with these items, and things like, I think they said that they've already seen with Subsumption, NPCs using Big Benny's and Pips, the drinks machine as well. So you will see people using them and you will be able to use them yourselves. Next question, has 2.5 been content locked yet? And they say no, unfortunately not yet. They know what they want in, but it's not locked as to what they can put in. This doesn't mean though it's far away and it's just miles off. It just means that there's some loose ends to wrap up, and it could be ready tomorrow, but it could be ready a week in future. Keeping with the 2.5 theme, next question is it going to be out before Gamescom? And he says he hopes so. That is the goal, and it's really looking good now, but they can't say for definite. Next question, will the digital t-shirts that we have seen in Around the Verse ever make it as physical merchandise? And they say if they have a particular shirt selling very well in the game, because they obviously keep track of all the data, then it would indicate that it's worth selling separately, and they potentially will do, but they can't say. Next question is regarding the HOTAS, the official RSI HOTAS, and they say they are still awaiting a prototype. I really don't know what's going on with SciTech. They need to get a prototype done, because I really want to buy one of those. So moving on, what use will the Argo have once released, considering most ships won't be able to carry one? They say they have been discussing this internally. They haven't got an answer yet, but Disco Lando says that he wants to see what we do with it. That's what he's interested in. I'm sure there will be plenty of uses for it in the verse. We'll have to wait and see. Someone asked what will we be able to purchase next in-game, and they say it's likely to be new clothing, but again, until the 2.5 is content locked, they can't commit to anything. Will the Constellation Phoenix have one size larger gun than the others? And they say he has not seen any info to suggest it will change, so yes, basically. But again, until it gets built out and they see exactly what fits where, they can't really put 100% on that one. After that is whether or not there's going to be some new Evacotti testers. They did say they are looking to select some more in the summer, but if you want to participate as Evacotti, then you need to put a lot of work into the issue council. But by this, he doesn't mean just put up a post every now and again. You've got to really have detailed posts to help, and if you are helping a lot, then they will include you in it. Next question. Will the reduced patch size be ready for 2.5? And he says he doubts it will be ready. They are testing it internally first. Once they're confident it's working, then they will roll it out to everyone else. After that, it's discussions of adding non-lethal weapons or FPS weapons, and if it's going to be a possibility. And he says it could be possible, but they look to next week's ATV because they are going to do a little weapons feature in the Frankfurt office, because it is the Frankfurt team that are working on the weapons. So fingers crossed we will see some. After that, it is whether the Polaris can dock an Argo. He says he would think so, absolutely. He doesn't see why not, but until they are both completely at 100% fleshed out, then they can't really say. Next question is one I'm interested in, is whether or not the Grimhex Outlaw base is going to be a safe zone or whether it's weapons free. Now they say they are going back and forth and it is in testing, so it's not finalised. I think they're going to get a play with it just to see how it feels and then make a determining choice. Again, he says there's more Grimhex in next week's ATV because it's being worked on by all studios, so do hang on and watch that. So, third to last question, how far along is the Herald? And he says what we saw was entirely engine, what we saw in ATV, that was completely in engine. It still needs the main console and cockpit to get done, but it's looking very close. He cannot put a percentage on it because it doesn't matter how much percent through they are. It's all about what crops up and what needs to be done. You could say you're 80% through, and then the next 20% takes just as long as that 80%. Or it could just be 2 weeks away. Who knows? But they cannot say. Next question, any work planned for Arena Commander or updates to this? They say they are in discussions for a patch to make sure that everything is working great and potentially have some additions. They will revisit it eventually, but obviously Squadron 42 and the PU is getting their priority. So last question, will the Aquila, the Constellation Aquila, fit the same jump points as the Carrack? He says he would think so, but again, until it's built out, they cannot say. There is a new shipyard post to explore the Freelancer coming soon. They are just gathering the history and all the other bits necessary. So looking ahead, he says ATV is from Frankfurt next week with Brian Chambers hosting. Gamescom is in a month and they are getting very close to getting sorted for that. They are bringing out 4 streamers which they'll announce soon. The streamers know who they are, so if you haven't been told, then you're not one of them. There's a ton of ship giveaways going on, so you've got to be watching to win. They're live streaming the full 5 days. Also, on a final note, Austin is having another Bar Citizen on July the 22nd at Woody's across the street from the studio. Now, this is a fan-created event, so I'll try and find you the links. Anyway, that was Reverse the Verse. Tell me your thoughts. So, also this week, there was a new behind-the-scenes post bringing us the DevOps team. There was a Spectrum Spectator post titled Lost Squad Finale. I've not read that yet, so no spoilers, please. July's subscriber flare has been shown off. It is a new space plant called the Ophelia Vine. It's been attributed to our accounts, but we will not see it in our hangars until 2.5 is released. For subscribers, the latest jump point is available. And finally, in this week's Bug Smashers, we saw a little sneak peek into what the new item system will look like. This is going to be how we will interact with our ships, our suits, and pretty much everything in the universe. It uses something called Inner Thought, which is a contextual text floating around above what we are looking at, so that as if our character is sort of thinking the options while facing it. I'm really looking forward to getting our hands on this. It'll just make the game feel so much more hands-on, so much more alive, and far more interactable. Tickets for BritisonCon are still available. BritisonCon is like CitizenCon, however, it is a fan-organised event. There's loads of cool stuff planned, including a Foundry 42 panel featuring some of the devs working on Star Citizen and Squadron 42, plus a content creators panel featuring YouTuber Board Gamer, Twitch streamers Dublar Thackeray and Maya Test, plus yours truly, as well as other cool stuff, including the Viking god from Frankfurt, Brian Chambers. He is making an appearance, so it's going to be great to have a beer with him. It's happening on the 23rd of July at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Manchester Airport. Tickets are only 20 quid. The website where you can buy them from is in the description. BritisonCon.uk. Get yourselves there if you can. I'd love to grab a beer with you all and just chat some shit.
A huge thank you goes out to all my patrons for your monthly contributions. Your support truly helps me get these videos to you. If you enjoy what I do and would like to help from as little as $1 a month, please check out my Patreon page. In return, I offer patron-only giveaways and gaming sessions with me as a way to say thank you. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our subscribers, plus a massive thank you to our patrons as you make this possible. If you like what we do and want to help us make it better, follow the link in the description to our Patreon page to learn more.